Let's dive right into this explainer and explore a powerful ancient framework that, honestly, completely transforms how we handle disagreements. I mean, have you ever felt like modern debates are just shouting matches where literally no one is actually listening? Well, it turns out ancient Indian philosophy totally nailed this problem thousands of years ago. Today we're going to walk through the fascinating taxonomy of debate found within Sanatan Dharma and unpack exactly how it teaches us to communicate, argue, and ultimately find the truth. This brilliant quote immediately frames our whole focus today. While other people sharpen their knives, Indians actually sharpen their logic. It perfectly highlights the profound difference between destructive combat and rigorous, truth-seeking dialogue in the ancient Indian tradition. Instead of, drawing physical weapons to settle a dispute, the ultimate weapon was the mind. Logic, understanding, and structured debate were absolutely revered. We're going to look at exactly how they structured that logic, and honestly, you might be surprised by just how incredibly relevant these ancient rules are to our modern lives.
All right, Section 1. 3 Forms of Debate. How Sanatan Dharma categorizes discourse. According to the source texts, any argument or debate you ever engage in essentially falls into one of 3 very specific categories: Vitanda, Jalpa, and Vada. We're going to break down these 3 forms sequentially, basically scaling from the most toxic, closed-minded way of arguing all the way up to the most enlightened method of discourse. Understanding these 3 categories really helps you analyze not just historical texts, but, let's be real, pretty much every argument you see on the news or social media today.
Moving to Section 2, Vitanda, destructive criticism. So, Vitanda is a fascinating yet incredibly toxic debate style fueled almost entirely by negativity. In Vitanda, the person arguing has absolutely zero intention of sharing their own beliefs or establishing any kind of truth. Their sole purpose? To criticize, negate, and just completely demolish their opponent's ideology. The source points out that this methodology is heavily rooted in hate and destruction. The goal isn't to build anything up, it's literally just to tear the other person down and subdue them. It's basically debate as pure demolition.
What's super interesting here is that even renowned ancient scholars, guys like Nagarjuna and Sriharsa, were actually famous for occasionally using this highly critical tear-it-down methodology. It wasn't just random, chaotic arguing. It was a recognized, albeit pretty harsh, scholarly tactic used to completely dismantle another philosopher's position without ever having to offer an alternative of their own. Next up, Section 3, Jalpa, unyielding ideology.
As we move up the taxonomy, we arrive at this second form, which is a bit less about destroying others and entirely about stubborn self-righteousness. Jalpa is a completely closed-minded debate where you enter the conversation already believing, without a doubt, that your truth is the absolute best and only truth. The participant completely refuses to concede any ground, listen to alternatives, or collaborate in any way. You aren't just trying to tear the other person down like in Vitanda, but you are aggressively trying to force your predefined ideology onto them. Our source brilliantly illustrates this concept by anchoring it to a famous figure from the Mahabharata, Duryodhana. He's used as the ultimate archetype of Jalpa. During that epic conflict, Duryodhana famously and stubbornly refused to share anything. I mean, he wouldn't even concede 5 small villages to avoid a massive, devastating war. His stance was basically, everything belongs to me, only what I say is the truth, and I will not give you anything. That complete and utter lack of compromise, that perfectly encapsulates the Jalpa mindset. Which brings us to Section 4, Vada, the path to truth. Now, what's incredible about Vada is that it isn't just some vague, feel-good attitude. It is a strict mechanical procedure that literally forces empathy. It breaks down into 4 main steps. First, you actually have to listen. Second, and this is the absolute genius part, you have to rephrase what your opponent just said in similar words to prove you truly understood their point. You can't just wait for your turn to speak. Only after you've accurately represented their view do you get to establish your own views. And finally, you work together to come to a conclusion. This is the ultimate constructive form of debate that seeks real mutual understanding rather than just a shallow victory.
Contrasting these 2 approaches really highlights the stark difference in intent. On one hand, you have the knives of Vitanda, destructive criticism, where the goal is merely to subdue and destroy. On the other hand, you have the sharp logic of Vada, where the goal is to listen, deeply understand, and collaboratively establish the truth. It's totally the difference between trying to win a fistfight and trying to solve a giant puzzle together.
And this truth-seeking methodology wasn't just some theoretical concept. It was the go-to tool for legendary historical figures. Swami Vivekananda utilized Vada to establish truth through deep discourse. Adi Shankara famously used this exact method in his profound debates with Mandan Mishra and later with Mandan Mishra's wife, Mahabharati. Furthermore, our source emphasizes that this constructive form of debate deeply influenced the philosophical development of major traditions across India, serving as the core form of discourse in Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism.
Section 5. The Divine Choice. Why Krishna Chose Vada. Take a moment to just absorb this incredible quote from the Bhagavad Gita. In Chapter 10, Sloka 32, Bhagavan Krishna is explaining his divine presence within all creation. He states that among all the teachings to find truth, he is the self-knowledge. And specifically, among all the different sorts of debates where people dispute to find the truth, he is Vada. He explicitly aligns the divine presence with this constructive, empathetic, and highly structured pursuit of truth. Not the destruction of Vitanda, not the stubbornness of Jalpa, but the active listening and understanding of Vada.
This simple phrase captures the beautiful underlying philosophy of Vada perfectly. The entire reason Vada is championed as the absolute highest form of debate is based on this one core belief. Truth is only one. However, different scholars and different people in general will naturally express it differently. Because the ultimate truth is singular, we shouldn't be tearing each other down. Instead, we have to work constructively together, actively listening and rephrasing to piece together our different ways of expressing that one singular truth.
To wrap up our explainer today, I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The next time you find yourself entering a disagreement, whether it's a deep philosophical discussion, a heated meeting at work, or just, a crazy comment section online, stop and ask yourself, which form are you bringing to the table? Are you just sharpening your knives to destroy your opponent with Vitanda? Are you stubbornly refusing to listen like Duryodhana with Jalpa? Or are you sharpening your logic, listening, and rephrasing to find the actual truth through Vada? The choice, as always, is entirely up to you.